record right now. All right, guys, you have the program. The floor is yours.
Welcome to our presentation about gun laws and mental health. Francis, take the floor.
My name is Francis, and me and my group, which includes Rafael, Shade, Alexander, Miguel, Durley, Jovahn, and Jennifer, we picked gun violence, the mental health and gun violence laws, because we wanted to raise awareness in Hartford so we could have people know more about the gun laws and why we should have stricter gun laws.
Did you guys see in the presentation in the screen? Okay. Who's next?
I am.
Okay. Go for it.
Mental health and gun violence. Why we need stricter laws. Alexander, Miguel, Rafael, Jovahn, Stephen, Francelis, Durley, Jennifer, and Shade. Why gun laws? A. Mass shootings by people with serious mental illness represent the most significant relationship between gun violence and mental health. Mental health is much more important than it may seem. Several studies have identified a history of childhood abuse, substance abuse, and male gender as predictive risk factor for serious violence. More specifically, school shooters are often white adolescent boys from small communities where everyone knows everyone. These are often boys who face gender-based bullying, such as being deemed unmanly because of their weight or athleticism, and who have access to guns. This goes to prove that mental health is much more important than you think.
Who's next?
It's me. The Second Amendment in the United States Constitution states a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This means anybody and everybody in the United States has the right to keep and own guns. This right has started a lot of controversy and has divided the nation on whether or not we should have more restrictions on the process of buying a gun. One side states we should require strict background checks, psychological testing, and lots more training. Some even saying we should ban guns from the public. The other side says we should only place stricter laws for criminals and the mentally ill. Some even say the U.S. should pass a stand your ground law.
So as many of you know, in 20, there's a school shooting in an elementary school here in Connecticut, and this resulted in 28 students and teachers being killed in this shooting, and this resulted in lawmakers in Connecticut changing laws, like broadening the scope of what the state classifies as an assault weapon and banning more than 150 gun models. And the legislation also banned the sale of gun magazines with a capacity of more than 10 rounds. And now you need a permit to buy any type of gun, and the state has a universal background check now and a registry of all the offenders.
All right, so gun laws in Connecticut. I listed some gun laws on the slide, but the most important parts of the laws that I have written on my notes is that you got to be 21 years of age. So in state law, actually, there's no like set law of how old you have to be, but most laws say 21 years of age. You also have to be a legal resident of the United States. So if you are a legal alien, then you cannot possess a gun here in Connecticut and of the United States, I guess. And also, you had to be a suitable person to receive a permit. So to be a suitable person, you cannot have a misdemeanor or convictions after October 1st, 1994. And this includes third-degree assault, criminally negligent homicide, first-degree reckless endangerment. Basically, any criminal act that you committed, you cannot possess a gun for a certain time or just forever, I guess. You can also, if you are, if you were put in a psychiatric ward, you cannot also possess a gun, which includes a mental health factor. Now, like the last slide talking about Sandy Hook, Adam Lanza, he suffered from various mental illnesses. So the fact that he was given access to guns, it shouldn't have been like that. So I feel like Connecticut law should make that where even if the person with a mental illness didn't buy the gun themselves, families should restrict access to guns because you see what happened with Adam Lanza. He went to the elementary school and he shot all those people, all because of a simple misunderstanding with his family. So I feel like if you either, because he wasn't, sent into a psychiatric ward or anything like that, but it's the fact that he was mentally unstable and the fact that he was given, access and he was, taught how to use a gun properly since he was very young. I feel like that was a poor mistake by the family, and the state should look into that and definitely change some laws around. But it was good that after the shooting that some laws were changed. But I feel like definitely that's one that should be made where they can't be given access to guns like that. All right, next slide.
More than half of the U.S. wants stricter gun laws, but only some states have taken actions on it. On average, fewer people die from gun violence in states with strong gun laws, and more people die in states with weak gun laws. In addition, stricter gun control laws are needed since they can reduce the number of violent crimes in society. In 2010, 12,996 people were murdered in the United States, and 8,775 of these deaths were due to firearms. Economic Policy Journal. These shocking statistics not only prove that violence from the misuse and abuse of gun privileges are a leading cause of death in this country, but they also show that tougher laws are needed to prevent innocent children, women, and men from being murdered. About 100 Americans are killed by guns every day. Year after year, the evidence shows that gun laws save lives in states with the courage to enact them. Having stricter gun laws in every state would definitely reduce gun violence by a lot. Stricter gun laws should be taking week-long gun safety classes, getting a serious background check, being 21 to purchase any types of guns, and making it harder to purchase and own guns. Stricter gun control are needed since gun control makes weapons less accessible to criminals and the mentally ill. It can reduce the number of murders in our country, and the Second Amendment was targeted towards militias and does not give all Americans the constitutional right to own a weapon. Next slide.
Why people with mental illness should not own a gun. Mass shootings are caused mostly by people with mental illness. People with serious mental illnesses end up not only killing other people but also committing suicide. People with mental illnesses are mostly start a mass shooting because of what type of mental illness they had, since they cannot control their actions. They also will most likely make a small problem into a huge problem and end up harming others.
Who's next? If it's nobody, Miguel, can you go for it? Thank you.
Yeah. What is the relationship between mental health and gun violence? Having a history of violence, youth justice involvement, physical interpersonal abuse, and parental justice involvement are the key predictors of future violence. Clinical factors that have an increased risk of violence include substance abuse. Dispositional factors that are predictors of violence are younger age, male sex, lower income. And contextual factors include major life changes such as divorce, unemployment, or victimization. Expressions of hate, rage, and threatening behavior are not mental illnesses, but are predictors of violence, making it easier to commit people to involuntary treatment. Will do little to nothing to prevent any violent acts, including gun violence. Instead, policymakers must address the root causes of violence. Separately, lawmakers must also provide for prevention and early intervention of mental health conditions because it is the right thing to do, not because it is a solution to violence of any kind.
Raising awarenesses within youth against gun violence. Youth focus groups. There are youth focus groups about gun violence. We can begin a youth group at school, bring information to schools youth on gun violence and their consequences. Attend CompStat presentations and HPD to gather information on local shootings, meet with police officers and youth, partner with groups that are against gun violence like Mothers Against Gun Violence, panel discussion event and gun violence for youth, from youth. Panelists will be youth gun violence victims first and second hand. Meet with legislators to gain champions to support stricter gun laws. Use social media to use awareness with youth. Mobile youth in a rally to demand CT legislation to pass stricter laws for people access guns, support national efforts against gun violence.
Okay, right now we have the time for comments or questions. If anyone has any questions, you can just ask us and we'll answer your comments or questions. So does anyone have any questions to ask us?
I'm just curious, what, if there was any reasons or main things that caused you all to want to do this for a topic?
I feel like our main reason was because gun violence, especially where we live right now and where our surroundings, is not getting any better. So raising awareness about it might help change people's minds.
I'm just curious, and you don't have to share this information, but has anyone been personally affected by that with either family or friends or knowing of someone in your neighborhood or anything like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I asked that because, you know, you start off by saying in your neighborhoods in where you're, you know, in Hartford in general, it's an issue, right? So I'm just curious, I asked this morning too, like, I would love it if some of you could share like what you learned, not just about the gun violence issue, how it relates to mental health, but also in this whole process of learning how to research an issue and then advocate and come up with ideas. So who would, anybody or all of you would be great if you would just share a little bit about what you learned.
Go ahead, Jennifer.
So I actually didn't know there are as many laws in Connecticut about guns and gun magazines. And I also did not know that sometimes you don't need a permit or an ID to get a gun. So that's what I learned.
Okay, how about you, Rafael?
During the 5 weeks, we learned about different types of organizations and how they want to raise awareness, but out of nowhere they stop. They don't keep going. They want to change, but they're not doing nothing. Like, they're not going forward with it.
And what is the solution to that?
Maybe keep protesting and keep raising awareness till you are heard.
Franchelis.
During these 5 weeks, I learned we learned about team building, how to be a leader, how to be a leader and take action and stuff.
Miguel.
During these 5 weeks, I learned a lot about like the problems that we go through around this time and how like not keeping something a moment, but like making it a movement and not just letting it die out.
Dirly.
During the past 5 weeks, I've learned that like you can basically start a protest and be a leader and start raising awareness for like teenagers that are like basically going through a tough time, and also that has gone through this type of stuff, the type of like gun violence, and yeah, and basically presents this project can also help each and every single one of us to like talk to some of our friends and telling them that telling them about this project and about how gun violence can affect other people and things like that.
Alex.
I'll say one thing that stuck with me during this 5 weeks was basically learning that we have power. So when we get together as a group, we have the power to change. Like she gave us examples, like in school, if the lunch is bad, we can get other students to join up with each other, and then we can maybe make a change and change up the school lunch. And also beyond the school, like if there's a law, we go to the state capitol, we protest there as a group, and that your voice is powerful beyond just yourself. It's more powerful with other people.
Thank you. Chade.
I learned through these 5 weeks that we can help mothers that lost their children to gun violence and help their voices get heard by like protesting and let it be known that gun violence is a very serious thing around our age.
Jovahn.
I learned in these 5 weeks that everybody's opinion matters. Because when we first started this, I remember when you used to give us scenarios and say, what do you think about it? You want to speak up? And I always say no, because I used to think it didn't matter. And then as the weeks kept going by, we kept going through classes, and I learned that everybody's opinion matters.
Anybody else? Question, comments? Mom, you want to say something? Oscar?
Yes. Hi, Ms. Fonseca. How are you?
Hi.
Hi, everybody. This was nice. I mean, I even missed the first slide, but I really enjoyed it. So a comment and then a question. It's great to hear you guys talking about gun violence because we know it's an issue. And even if you agree with them, even if you like them or whatever, there's got to be some laws or whatever out there, right? To prevent those guns to get in, in bad hands, or we need law anyway out there, right, to take control of those. So it's great to hear you guys, and I just heard what Jovahn said about opinions. I mean, please, guys, don't ever doubt of your opinion matters. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what opinion it is, but it's what you think, is who you are. Where you come from, okay? Do not forget that, never, okay? All right, and the question is, I don't know, I'm curious to know, what would you do different of what government it's doing right now? What would you do different about gun violence and gun laws and everything? What would you do different of what you see on the news or what it's going on? What would you do different? Does anyone want to answer that for me? You would visit schools more and talk about it. You would do campaigns on social media, for example. Would you do programs for young people like you? What would you do different?
I think going to schools and doing campaigns will help.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jovahn. Does anybody else?
You can like start after school programs, like talk to the teachers and do after school programs for the students who wants to like join the after school programs and for what they've gone through, and it could probably help them more.
Thank you, Durley. Nice to see you. That's cool. All right. So more campaigns like this, more after school programs about it. That's good. Good to keep in mind those things. And again, your opinion matters. So it's great to be here and see you guys presenting. And you know what? And I said it yesterday, and I'm gonna say it to you guys. I said it to a different group. We're not evaluating, how good you are presenting, because we do understand that being young, it's tough enough, right? To be in front of people presenting. It's not easy. It's not gonna be easy. So we're not here to judge on that, how you present, how you talk, or whatever. We're more here to evaluate, or not just evaluate, but just to see, what you guys think, and hear about your brilliant ideas. That's what we're here for, and we're proud of you guys. That's great. Thank you, Ms. Fonseca.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and I would like to add something to what Jovahn said about realizing that every opinion matters. I would even go so far as to say what actually a young person from the first group today said, that people will listen even more to you because you're young. I mean, you might actually think, well, because I'm so young, who's going to listen to me and who cares? But honestly, if you take advantage of these skills and ideas and things that you're learning about coming together in unity on a subject that you feel strongly about and being able to have a voice, your voices will be heard and listened to, especially as soon as someone hears you open your mouths or show a slide that says, hey, look, we did some research and here's some important facts and here's how this affects my community. And, we're not just talking opinions, really. We're researching things, we're coming together, we're sharing the same opinion with many people our age. And honestly, as an adult who's been around a long time, I would be way more intrigued to hear a group of young people talking on a topic than I would a bunch of stuffy adults, to be honest with you. Or, adults sometimes think they're experts on things and they may know a lot, but they don't always have the same fresh insight as you have. So never, ever, ever think that because you're young, your opinion doesn't matter or won't be heard. In fact, it's an asset to you to use it to your advantage. And it's awesome that you're starting this young to learn about these things and learn that you can have a voice and you can advocate for the things that are important to you.
Yeah, and something real quick. As you guys know, there's a lot of movements out there, right? Like Black Lives Matter or movements about education. Now, in the middle of this pandemic, you know, there's a lot of rallies out there. And those are people that are trying to speak up. And that's what you guys should do every time. And I want to suggest something. I was talking to one of the senators the other day here in the state of Connecticut. And that senator was telling me like, yeah, but people don't reach out to us. They don't know who we are. So it's very important for you guys to understand that you have a state representatives, you guys have senators, you have legislators, you know, a lot of people you can reach out to, okay? Share your opinions with them, okay? So don't, echo to what Ms. Kim just said and what Jovahn said. Opinion matters. So don't just keep it to yourself, you know, don't do that. Go out and reach out to political figures, you know, and senators, state representatives, everyone speak up. They will listen to you and they might take your opinion as a project for them to work on. All right.
So we are actually moving to the end of the presentation. If anyone else has a comment, question, we have one of the guest speakers that visit us during these 5 weeks, just arrived, Ms. Denise Best, who was actually about power and the power that we have in our hands immediately when we turn 18 years old, and to go to vote and make a difference in that way. So we knew, I mean, we learned in all these years, as well as these 5 weeks, especially for our last presidential campaign, voting, that our votes matter. We can either put someone great in the presidency or someone not that great. So again, that is very powerful, especially to you guys who are the future, the oncoming. So if it's not any more comments or questions, our presentation is done. So guests can leave us and we gonna finish our session for today. But before we go, Ms. Denise, do you want to say something?
Yes, I apologize. If this was in my calendar for 1:30.
Oh, because the presentation you did, they started at 1:30.
So I'm sorry. I just want to say congratulations to all of you. I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of our youth right now because you have so much passion, and that's what we need right now. We need you to take over from, you know, the greats like John Lewis and those in our own community who have been fighting the fight for justice for all of us, particularly Black and brown people. I just want to say to you this: it's so hard to make us understand the real danger of COVID-19 when it comes to Blacks and Latinos. You have to wear masks, you have to practice social distancing, because as in the statement that I sent to Lourdes, the top 1% in this country will not mind if you die. In fact, it would be to their best interest if we die off, because that's less money that they have to spend on all of the social services, from education to Section 8. And those are the things that we need, our families need, our neighbors need. So this is why we need you to get out there and vote. And if you're too young, please encourage your family to vote. Your family members, your friends that are older than you, your cousins, your siblings, your girlfriends, boyfriends. We gotta vote. We gotta change the narrative for our people. And in order to do that, you gotta be alive. So you gotta stay safe. Make sure that you can get masks. And if you know where to, you can ask Lourdes. You can talk to me. I can make sure that you get them. Social distance. You know, my daughter is 43 years old, and she told me the other day she only is unmasked about people that she trusts. And I told her, like I will tell you, you can only vouch for yourself. You can't vouch for your friend or even your boyfriend or girlfriend because they say that they do this or that. Because people slip up, people forget. I've been in stores many times and people say, oh, forgot my mask, and they'll go out to their car to get it. But people give people rides. People allow people to sit on their porch and talk with them, not social distancing. So you can't trust that somebody that you know isn't always safe. So you have to be safe for yourself. Protect yourselves, please. Thank you. God bless you. Be well, and congratulations, and good luck on your next endeavor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well,
Lourdes, before I leave, I just wanted to ask about the plans for tomorrow, because you're going to be at our place as usual for Friday,
yes.
right? And you're going to have the same time sessions for both groups?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. All right. Well, I will be there tomorrow, so I'll see you then.
All right.
Bye, everyone. Great work. It was really awesome and exciting to hear you present and work as a team so well. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.
So guests can leave and everybody else stay. Thank you, Oscar.
Oh my God, I thought she was never gonna finish.
Jovahn, you did a great job. I was impressed. And you was the one who didn't want to do anything.
I did it.
Yes, you did. And all of you too. I mean, you guys really pull it out and shut me up. I mean, I know these 5 weeks, you guys was the most challenging ones. You guys barely talk, but today you proved me wrong, and I'm glad. I'm happy that you guys did that. It was an excellent presentation. You guys really nailed it down. So for tomorrow will be, I have an evaluation form, very simple. Do the time sheets and then just chill. Even though the time sheet is gonna say the same thing as always on Friday, 1 to 3, we're leaving at 2. We don't need to stay until 3. So to be the last day. Today, right now, that's what I told them to leave. It's 1:38. We can actually leave too.
Stop recording.
Oh, yes, you're right about that. Shoot. Okay.